like my style, go ahead and give me one mic. Everybody's got excuses, but you got one life to live, one life to give, one moment, one opportunity. Boy, that's it, and it's all said and done. When the going gets tough and the tough gets going, you just go ahead and run. Cause opinions are like assholes, everybody has one. They're being constructive or they jealous of the outcome. It's not about the times you fail, it's about the times you got up. And I don't even care what the fuck your excuses is. Fact is, you just playing the cards of foolishness. What you think I'm dubious, you gotta get up, get going and just move on. Don't look towards the past, you gotta groove on. You procrastinating now, you gotta get that motivation. I already created a track called Inspiration. Gotta get up, get going and get fucking hype. Go ahead kid, go ahead and live your life with no regrets, no regard all the fucking time. Cause I'm telling you, if you keep going, you will wind end up in the same spot you've been in all your fucking life now. Tell me now who's winning. Opinions are like assholes, everybody.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to WTN Rundown, a special AEW Revolution Preview. Probably should have wrote Revolution on the preview tag. But you know, you know, and if you're an AEW fan, you are excited for Sunday. But I digress. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your boy, Justin JLB, and I am alongside the man who seems to cover my butt every chance that he can. It sounds dirty. I didn't mean for it to sound dirty, but Jeff T, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Thanks for tagging along, and going to do a little wrestling discussion. Of course, AEW Revolution is the hot topic, but we might as well go on to the real gigantic news that Tony Khan dropped on us yesterday. I'm sure you've seen it, and if you haven't seen it live, you definitely heard about it all over, where Tony Khan had started off AEW Dynamite and had mentioned that he was the owner of ROH.
Yeah, that's for sure. I actually expected maybe some wrestler coming in, like some surprise or something like that. And then when he said that I'm the new owner of Ring of Honor, I said, I'm surprised, but at the same time, I'm kind of not. Because knowing that that they were going to start up again in April, at least presumably with the current ownership, so I don't know what's going to happen now if they're still going to keep on that I guess time frame. But I see this as almost like their NXT, where that's it. Like I see like where they'll build up. Let's say. Because they do have a lot of indie guys. Obviously the indie guys aren't signed; they're just like they're doing random spots. But I see them doing that, and guys that maybe aren't on Dynamite or Rampage or Dark that often, just put them on ROH. That's what I think.
That's it. And I think that makes sense. It's going to be like their NXT, their developmental. I mean, a lot of the ROH guys were generally going to AEW to begin with. Some obviously go to WWE. It's very interesting, though, now where, I guess Vince doesn't necessarily get anyone from ROH or hasn't for a very long time. That's the rumor. ROH will be the AEW developmental.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised they would go that route because I don't see why you would have it as a third brand, quote unquote.
Or second brand, technically.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry, not third, second. But I definitely see it as a developmental or just like if a wrestler doesn't have, let's say, a usual spot on Dynamite or Rampage, put them on ROH.
And that's the thing. So are they just going to get rid of Dark then? Because I feel like you wouldn't even.
What I would do is I would have maybe replace Dark, or maybe have one episode of Dark as opposed to two, and have the other one as ROH and just have it on YouTube, but more upscaled, like more,
Right. I'm sure they're gonna mess around with the production of it too and all that. It's not gonna be the reason why I never really watched ROH is because of how the quality was in that regard. I guess more of the production and the cameras and all that. I wasn't a fan. It was very raw and very indie, which is obviously what they wanted, and they clearly obviously don't have Tony Khan money or Vince McMahon money at the time when they started. But that's kind of what threw me off. So I am excited to maybe get that AEW production with the ROH wrestling.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
I I was shocked by it, and I was like, okay, I understand you got that library now. That is great. But then I was like, why have two wrestling promotions though? You know what I mean? I was just kind of like, but why buy both? And then people were like, oh, but what? Maybe one's a developmental. And then or they're like, no, he'll just make it an AEW thing, but it's like a separate brand, like NXT kind of ordeal. And I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. So we won't see ROH pay-per-views then. We won't get I don't know. You know what I mean? Are they going to go, ROH is going to get their own weekly kind of thing? Yes, library. He always mocks me. I say the R, but he doesn't hear it, and that's on him.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good point you make. It's a good point you make, though. Are they gonna? I'm assuming they still might have like, kind of like how NXT has their takeover shows, where it's like this big, a pretty big show with a lot of quality matches, or at least
Right.
they used to have quality matches. So having a lot of the young guys from ROH that were still on like before the company folded, so to speak.
Right.
I wonder if they're still going to do like kind of share talent with Impact, because I remember if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if you guys had covered it on the show that they kind of ended their AEW kind of ended their relationship with Impact,
Right.
or at least
but
for the
ROH stuff kind of happened in Impact now, right? We had a lot of stuff going on with that too. So we had like the first time I watched the what was it called? That pure wrestling match with that they had on Impact. I forgot the name escapes me of but it was like a pure wrestling match. And there were certain special ROH rules. The name of the wrestlers right now escapes me, but it was the guy who wears an octopus on his head. Really good wrestler. ROH. I think he's the ROH champion. No.
I can't remember.
I want to say Josh Alexander, but I don't think it's Josh Alexander. I feel like that's
Josh Alexander was the Impact champion.
Impact champion. Casey's gonna.
Yeah, he was. What's his name's?
Grisham. Ethan. It's still not helping me because I don't remember his.
Grisham. Yeah. Yeah, Josh.
Josh Grisham. I think no. Josh Grisham is an announcer.
No, but Grisham. I can't remember the first name, but yeah, I know who he's talking about. Yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely going to do some cross promotion with the AEW. Maybe have
Jonathan.
That's it. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was John or Jonathan yet. It could. I wouldn't be surprised if they do maybe some kind of a cross promotion, maybe a Blood and Guts ROH versus AEW. That could be interesting. That could be interesting. You never know. I mean, I like this. I think it's an interesting move. It's interesting to see where they're going to go with it, and but definitely developmental is pretty much your first thought. But I would like them to use it more than a developmental, more than and just say, hey, it's our second brand. Yes, it's our lower tier compared to, let's say, obviously a Dynamite and Rampage. And and I mean, like I said before, wrestlers who don't get time on the regular show, they just get put on ROH.
Yeah, and I don't know because Tony Khan's like a hardcore wrestling fan, right? Like he loved ROH. He's an advocate. He used to watch all kinds of wrestling. So I don't know if he'd want to consider ROH as the developmental kind of thing. You know what I mean? I feel like he'd almost want to put it on par as his regular flagship shows. Kind of thing. So it's going to be interesting. They also released the actual press release for the announcement, and that he basically just owns everything from ROH. So it's not a particular part, or he's not like half partner or something. I did enjoy seeing that ROH match that they did between Bryan and Daniels. I thought that was really dope.
That was good. That was a very good
That
match.
was really good. Yeah, and I've been a fan of Daniels since like when I saw him on Impact quite a few years ago, and the guy can still go. So it was really cool to actually see him do that and them make that actually happen. Then, of course, Bryan saying with the handshake and's like, "Oh, this is what we did in ROH, but I'm now in AEW and I'm gonna kick your head in." I was like, "Oh my god, so good."
No, that was another really, really solid show of 40 million. Okay.
Oh wow, that's not bad, I guess. You know,
yeah, it's not bad considering.
I mean, for that library, that
from,
library is
back,
a gold mine.
20 years of library. Yeah. Hey, who knows? Maybe AEW is lining up to have like their kind of streaming platform to a degree. Maybe eventually just have like their.
I've heard HBO. He was looking into doing
HBO?
something with HBO. Yeah.
Well, see, that's the thing. That makes sense because HBO and TNT and TBS are under the same banner.
Yeah.
But now that AT&T is selling off all their rights to Discovery, I wonder how that's going to play out once Discovery kind of elaborates their streaming platform. You know, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes on. But it could very well be maybe on Discovery Plus you'll have kind of like on Peacock where you'll have like a WWE section. Maybe you'll have one that's wrestling, just dedicated to wrestling. You know, who knows?
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
I would definitely tag on to that for sure. That would be fun, especially if you get all the pay-per-views, kind of like the network sort of ordeal.
Sure. But I want to touch on something that HBO mentioned. Is Warner. Yeah, Turner is Warner. Yeah, exactly. So what I was going to say is kind of like how you. I want to just make a point to what you had said earlier about like Tony Khan maybe not wanting ROH as a developmental. I think maybe the word developmental is maybe used almost too harsh in a sense that you're just going to completely dismiss the brand, and that's not, I think, what we're kind of talking about. You know, obviously, you know, it's like if you will use NXT as an example. Yes, NXT was, you can say, their pseudo developmental brand, but you had also names like names that were on there. You know, you had Samoa Joe that was there for a long time. You know, you had other wrestlers that were on NXT before they made the move to the main roster, and vice versa. You had guys going down like Finn Balor. So I don't think it's that out of the that far fetched to think that AEW would do the same thing. You know, I mean, like this, they signed so much talent that a lot of them aren't on Dynamite or Dark. Dynamite or Rampage or even Dark for that matter. So if you have a quality brand like ROH, or if you market it as kind of like your secondary brand but upscaled, you know, I think that there's definitely room for it, and it's a form of developmental where if an up and coming indie wrestler moving up the ranks, you know, it's definitely interesting. I think if they use that NXT model in a sense where it could still be a quote unquote developmental show, but with quality production, quality matches, instead of just being, you know, like something cheap thrown on the internet. You know, kind of unfortunately, kind of like how Dark is. Like, I'm not saying Dark is bad, but I mean, Dark is like your Sunday or Sunday morning wrestling or Saturday morning wrestling they used to have back in the day, where you just have big names wrestling jobbers. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And, that's exactly what it is, though. Unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, Elevation's cool. Like, I like it. You know, the commentary team is good. So I would remove one of the Darks and integrate, or who knows? You know, who knows how they're gonna go, but. ROH,
I don't think ROH is going to go to St. Clair. No, I mean,
no, Sinclair just sold the company.
Yeah, exactly. So I see it for sure on TBS or TNT or some Warner thing, or maybe it's just going to be it's
on YouTube.
Like I don't know, man, because I even feel YouTube is not enough money to get. I feel like they would really have to want to take advantage of ROH to get some more money And I feel like you're going to have to put it on cable television, though. Almost.
Maybe on TBS,
Because
maybe like just a different day.
Yeah, because one thing that ROH, I believe, unless you're a hardcore fan and you're gonna try and find it, the problem with ROH, it was always on these weird times, right? Because St. Clair owned, like, for at least in the States, they owned like a lot of smaller stations. And it was on either at a really weird time. In Canada, I think we had it on Fight for a while, Fight TV.
Yeah, on Fight Network, yeah.
And the library alone is worth 40 mil. Yeah. I mean, I'd agree with that.
Library? What's the library?
He's making fun of me again.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't think the library alone is worth 40 million. I don't think so.
I mean, that's a lot of wrestling, man. That's a lot of legends that are there who are top notch now, superstars. I would think so. He could easily make his money back just with the library, though.
Hey, listen, WCW got sold for under 15 million, including their entire library and the NWA library. So I don't think ROH's library, with all due respect to ROH, I don't think they're worth 40 million just the library.
Well, I mean, especially it's worth maybe that now because of all the stars we've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's more due to that. St. Clair is one of the largest TV owner in the States. All right, my bad. I think I was referring to Impact. Then.
Oh yeah, so, Impact, yeah, because Fight Network is owned by Anthem, which owns Impact. Yeah.
That's it. So I got that confused. Unless you were a hardcore fan, ROH. Unless you were trying to find it, or you have to wait until it went like on YouTube or something, or you would buy the pay-per-views now off of whatever site offers it, Fight probably, or Bleacher Report when it was a thing. But now, because you have to get that wider audience, and a lot of people got into AEW. For sure, a lot of people would enjoy ROH, but again, maybe a lot of people also didn't get into it because of the cameras and the production quality as well. Jesus, an offer at 15 mil from WWF, but had turned down an offer at 30 mil from Bischoff. Oh,
yes,
that's
Thank you for breaking. Thank you, Casey, for breaking news that's already been out there for many years. Thank you very much.
He's informing, poor guy.
No, I'm kidding. I would actually. What would you think about having ROH like as a Saturday show?
That's another breaking news there. Yeah, as a Saturday show, man, I don't know, man. I'm already kind of done with wrestling. I mean, if that happens, I think I'm just gonna have to like completely just not watch. I mean, granted, I don't really watch Raw or SmackDown much now, anyways. But right. I think I just might literally just tune into AEW and ROH then, in that regard, because it's just a better product in terms of storytelling, storylines, and wrestling. Because with everything now, man, it's too much already. And then you add ROH. I mean, if they get the production up, if ROH is the shit production as it was, you're not going to see me watch.
Right.
You know. But I guess not. Why not, man? Saturdays, there's never anything wrestling on Saturdays, I guess, unless you're counting this Saturday, which will have the WWE show, which I'm not certain is technically going to be on the network or not. So,
yeah,
HBO Max could easily get 40 million. Yeah.
Well, they don't have it's. They already have the deal with TBS with Turner, and he already alluded that HBO is a part of the Turner, so or Warner actually. So yeah.
Yeah, so it just would make sense for it to be on HBO, and then of course, you know, HBO has wrestling content. They have the Heel Show, right? So wrestling. But
actually, he makes a good point though. Like we were talking about earlier on the streaming, like on HBO Max, considering that Discovery's making a move for their Warner Media, right. That could be an interesting move, kind of like. You know, just have ROH on a streaming, and have the TV deal just to AEW. I just don't think I mean, obviously, your outreach is only going to be because Discovery Plus is available in Canada. So once that kind of merger and buyout comes to play, it would be available to just way more people. It will be available to Canadians as well. So, but I think right now, I would say I would probably keep it on maybe TBS on a weekend. Because I mean, really, TBS just runs your typical movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's basically what you alluded to there, the comment. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, there's so many ways you can go about it. I imagine obviously Khan had a plan when he had thought of wanting to buy it. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. This also makes Revolution a very interesting card. It's already jam-packed with crazy good matches. But the fact that now you have officially bought ROH, sure, you don't have any contracts, right? Because all the wrestlers left. They let the contracts expire. Sure, you don't have any contracts, but I imagine you might even see some ROH people now in AEW this Sunday. So that'd be interesting with what they do there.
Right. I actually had the scenario just pop in my head. What would you think is that eventually Cody comes back as the guy who is running ROH against AEW and he turns heel? Would that be far-fetched?
No, but the problem is Tony Khan just literally came out and said he bought ROH. So, and then Tony Khan mentioned that Shane wasn't here. So he was kind of already alluding to a comment on that. So I don't think they're going to go that route after Tony Khan had just taken a shot at WWE doing that same scenario 20 years ago. 22 years ago, that'd be kind of very hypocritical on Tony's part to do that. That would have been cool though if they didn't make that announcement.
No, not right now. I'm saying because obviously the build up. Let's say if hypothetically Cody were to come back as a heel, almost like if he kind of slowly snuck his way into ROH and he started like taking over the show somehow. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, they've said it already. Yes, but they've also said that he left AEW. So if he does come back, he just worked us all. So
exactly, and this guy still thinks it's a work
until he shows up on WWE programming. We don't know. There's nothing definitive yet. So
yeah, exactly. I'm on par with you there. And so. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. He may even show up at Revolution this Sunday. I don't think that ROH scenario would go down. That would have been cool, unless they kind of make their first ROH pay-per-view or something, and Cody just randomly shows up. What is he doing in ROH? And then they could kind of make that happen, but he wouldn't be the owner. He would just kind of be the rebel that's going to maybe take ROH. But again, it's kind of weird. Tony Khan owns both. So Tony Khan likes to not make the AEW fans think that we're stupid. So he's going to realize we're all going to be like, well, but you own both. Why not just fire him or whatever, So they definitely would have to go another route.
That's true.
At the same time, but I mean, this is leading to me not maybe thinking it's a work anymore, and why maybe Tony Khan decided to let him go too. Because he clearly knew he was going to buy ROH. He clearly knew the price tag, $40 million. Cody, you want $3 million? Buddy, I can't do that. You know what I mean? So that is something I could now see with him doing such a ginormous move like that and all the talent that he recently hired. I could certainly see him and Cody actually splitting and parting ways, but I'm not there all just yet. I still think it's a work because
it's like I said, until he shows up on WWE programming, we could all it is right now is speculation.
Exactly.
So we'll see.
So with that said, what's not speculation, Jeff, is the card for AEW Revolution. It is a jam-packed card. I imagine you will be watching this Sunday, because if you're not, I don't know what else more entertaining thing you would be doing.
No, it's
No,
it's a really
bad joke.
it's a stacked show.
It's stacked from top to bottom, and they even announced the buy-ins as well, which are pretty decent matches as well. So I guess we maybe could start with give our little predictions on what's going on and what we think, who we think will win, and whatnot. Because yeah, it's pretty packed. So we'll start with the buy-in. We have Chris Statlander versus Layla Hirsch on the buy-in, which it's going to be a fun match. I don't remember their feud or why they feuded, but I remember Layla Hirsch. She was in a team with her, right?
Yeah.
And then she just got all like bossy and mean, and she hates everybody. And okay,
you know, it's funny is well, it's not funny because it's a serious matter, but that Layla Hirsch is built from Russia, and we all know what's going on in the world, and she turned heel. It's almost like it's unfortunate what's going on, but it almost in the wrestling world plays into the, like kind of like what they did with like back in the day with the Iraqi war. You had like the Iron Sheik was a bad guy because he was Iraqi and so on and so forth. So
right,
it's teetering on that line of like maybe we shouldn't touch this, but
Well, I mean that's
the,
what WWE did though, right? We'll see how AEW takes that because this is the first time we see something as ginormous as a potential World War III scenario going on. So we'll see how Tony Khan does that. I think he might just keep it though, and and play it that hey, yeah, I'm Russian, but I'm also a good person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not my president. You know what I mean? We're the Russians who believe in peace and so on and whatever. So it would be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, that's going to be a good match. I mean, I really like how Layla Hirsch's matches have been coming along. Their quality, considering that she's a really short, like really really short compared to a lot of the other girls in AEW. But her matches are solid. Her work is pretty good. It's just going to be a good buy-in match. Kind of get the crowd going before the actual main show hits.
Well, they're going to get the crowd going even more because you have Hook on the buy-in, but unfortunately, he's facing QT Marshall.
Yeah, there's not much to say there. I think
so. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sold on Hook.
Yeah, me neither yet. I'm really not. And him facing QT Marshall doesn't help his thing as well.
But aren't Team Taz heels?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I mean QT's a heel, so it's a heel versus heel match, but only the Hook gets a face pop. So it's like, where does that put everyone else in Team Taz, which are technically heels?
Yeah, but everyone hates QT Marshall though, so it's kind of just a thing, right?
Yeah, I think just for the sake of the match itself, yeah, fine. Hook is the baby face. Yeah. But
so obviously Hook's winning that. I mean, I don't see why they would give QT Marshall a push and Hook's first loss against QT Marshall.
No. I think it's safe to say that Hook's going to win.
By the way, yeah, and I'm taking Layla Hirsch for the Chris Statlander match. I love Chris Statlander, but I really like how you were mentioning how Layla Hirsch was built and what she does in the ring. So
yeah, that might be
5 feet of fury.
I would think so. But I would see that feud continuing. I don't think it's over. It's definitely not over. At least I hope not. So I think for the sake of the storyline, yeah, I would see maybe Layla Hirsch coming out on top in this match, but that Chris Statlander would get her revenge match later down on the line, maybe on Dynamite or Rampage.
That's it. It didn't mention if it was for like any kind of number one contendership or something.
I don't think so, no.
So that might have just made it a little bit more interesting. I just feel like they do drop the ball in the women's matches, though. So, like in terms of storytelling.
Yeah, but I mean the actual quality of the matches, I think, make up for it, though.
They do. They absolutely do. It's just for me, because I just like the story though. The story helps me along. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we will see though. I'm pretty excited for that. I guess that's a decent buy-in, just considering it's free and on YouTube. And what's probably going to start off, perhaps, the event will be Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy Guevara versus AHFO, and it's a tornado tag team match. So everyone's going to be in the ring at the same time.
Yeah. No,
So,
is that the way Tornado Tag Team works? Is that it?
yeah. No?
Okay.
Well, a tornado
I
trio
think
tag team match. So it's three,
right.
three, all at the same time.
Yeah. I think
I guess is Andrade. Who is it? It's Private Party, and it would be Andrade, I guess. Or would it be Matt?
What do you mean?
I mean, well, because it's AHFO, right? So Private Party, you have Private Party, Matt Hardy, and Andrade. Private Party are going to be the
well,
people
no, it's one of the Private Party. It's Isaiah Cassidy.
Oh, snap. Okay, because the other guy's still hurt, right?
Yeah, it's just Isaiah Cassidy, Andrade, and Matt. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you think that's where we're going to see...
Well, you see, that's what's interesting, because I was about to say, and it just popped in my head now, I was almost saying, like, maybe something's going to happen where AHFO kind of, let's say maybe Sammy hits Sting, or Sammy hits Darby Allin and causes them to lose, which is obviously, that they're leading up. Well, I think the TV title's this week, right? It's on the Rampage tomorrow. The actual title match.
Yes.
It's tomorrow. So I mean, I was thinking maybe if something like if Darby actually wins, because I don't see Sammy keeping the belt for much longer. Honestly, the fact that he has those two belts is stupid. Unless he drops to Miro whenever Miro comes back, or he drops to Andrade, which is what I kind of thought was going to happen.
Exactly.
Last Rampage, but I think out of this one, I kind of 50-50 on it, on who would go over. I think if Darby Allin, Sting, and Sammy win, I think this is where you see Broken Matt kind of starting to come back.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too.
Because he kind of, like, on Dark, I don't know if you watch Dark, but on Dark there was the I can't remember his name, but he's the Hindu wrestler. I can't remember his name. Jeez, it escapes me. But he lost. So. Yeah, he's part of AHFO, but he lost against Jay Lethal. He lost against Jay Lethal, and at the end of the match, which is rare because Dark is made. If for those who don't watch Dark, it's just that match, and that's it. Like, there's no really setup. Whereas on this one, Matt Hardy actually got in the ring, got pissed at the guy losing, and it's like, if you screw up again, you'll be deleted, and he did the Broken Matt thing.
Right.
And the crowd went along with it. So I think if they lose on Sunday, if AHFO loses, fairly certain it's going to be the return of the Broken Matt gimmick, which would probably soon thereafter mean that Jeff Hardy,
Brother Nero's coming. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to join AHFO though. I think Matt or Broken Matt and Brother Nero are going to go their separate ways. I think Andrade is going to kick Matt out because he's going to go crazy and he's going to get kicked out. And then that's where Brother Nero might come in. I don't see Matt joining. Jeff joining a huge faction like that. And it's just going to be those two guys separately. Andrade is going to kick Matt out. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And then it will just be AFO, I guess.
Yeah. That's why I'm really I'm 50-50 on that.
Yeah, me too. I almost feel like I'll go with Darby, Sting, and Sammy. I'm going to go with that because then that's what's going to make Matt go crazy. That's what's going to get him kicked out. And who knows? Maybe we'll see Brother Nero even then.
Because I think either way, whichever team wins, there's more of an interesting story if Sammy, Sting, and Darby win, whereas opposed to if the other ones win, depending on what happens this weekend, like, is it going to be a feud where, let's say, maybe Sammy turns heel or something like that because he left? Like, because obviously, I think we could think that the inner circle is pretty much done.
Right.
But then again, Jericho kind of like he fist bumped Santana Ortiz, so are they kind of back again? Who knows? But you know what? I think I'll agree with you on that one, Justin. I think I'll go with Sting, Darby, and if I had to pick, yeah, I'll go.
You got to
with
pick.
that
You can't do
prediction.
this 50-50 bullshit. It doesn't work.
Listen,
It's one or the other. You got to put your bet on something.
listen. First of all, watch your language. Okay, number one. Number two. No, I'll go with that one. I'll take that pick for sure.
He mentioned not producing results. I'm just not sure what he's referring to. But yeah, AHFO is definitely not producing results. I don't think anyone's necessarily cared for that brand or that team or that stable for a while now. But the inner circle is a good segue to then we're also going to be getting Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. And maybe this is where we'll truly see the demise of the inner circle in the sense that no one's going to help him out and whatever have you. Because I think Jericho's going to be leaving soon anyways for whether it be his cruise or his tour. And this has to go to Eddie Kingston with that promo that they had. I see it doing nothing but push Eddie Kingston to be a top guy, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it would also, like, especially if Jericho is still aligned with Jake Hager, that's just another tag team, like a heel tag team they can put together. It's not a bad idea. I don't think that's a bad idea because obviously Jake Hager could wrestle. He's good, and he has a good mouthpiece. And Jericho, good tag team right there. And Jericho obviously could still work despite his age. So
exactly.
I think I'll lean towards Eddie Kingston. I think on that one.
Yeah, I think that's almost a sure thing. I don't know, man. I'm just not sold on Jake Hager though. I loved what was his name in WWE? I loved him in WWE.
Jack Swagger.
Jack Swagger. I loved him in WWE. I thought he was great. But then
the We the People shit.
Well, even before that, though, I joined him. I enjoyed him more in the ring, but he was also built differently too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now he's a bit bigger, so I guess he can't do some of the stuff he used to do.
Well, it's because Jake had been training MMA, so I mean he has to make that weight limit, to 65.
That's it.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he looked probably over 265 when he was in WWE. So I'm not surprised on that regard. Okay. But I don't think I liked his work. I like his work either way. I understand what you mean, but I like his work either way. And I think him teaming with Jericho, him alone wouldn't work. But I think him with a solid tag team with Jericho as they're like just heels, I think it makes sense. But yeah, Eddie Kingston I think gets this. I don't know if it'll be clean. I think it might be some interference. Maybe Proud and Powerful screws over Jericho. Who knows? I think so. Exactly. Yeah, that would. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of like screw over Jericho. Maybe yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know because with the story that they're also building with that too, right? Jericho says you can never win the big one. You can never win the big one, and then Kingston winning the big one by cheating. It kind of then diminishes his whole character that the underdog has finally overcame his self-doubt. You know what I mean? So if they're building that message, I feel like you have to make it clean just for that specific reason.
Or it's a swerve in the sense where you think that Jericho is leaning more heel because of the stuff he's been saying in promos, and obviously Proud and Powerful Santana Ortiz have been getting a really strong crowd reaction. It could be a swerve where all of a sudden they help Eddie Kingston to win, and Eddie Kingston and Santana Ortiz are heels. Jericho stays face, which would just be a swerve, right? Because you would think that even the promo he gave on Rampage, on Dynamite, where almost like it's like, oh, okay, he's leaning more and more towards being a heel Jericho, but it could
Right.
be, they could swerve you and you wouldn't expect, like, it would go the opposite way. They could flip flop it, whereas Jericho stays face.
That's it, and that's kind of the beauty about Kingston and Jericho. They're almost like Moxley, right? In the sense that they're not really heel or face per se. They're kind of just they do whatever the hell that they want, but the fans are going to love them regardless. So whether they're heel, whether they're face, they're just kind of neutral. They're in the middle. They're really not either or, but they're both at the same time. So that's going to be interesting. So that really there, anything can happen. But I'll keep it with Kingston. I'll be prepared for a swerve just in case, but it should be a decent match. Probably, dare I say, aside from the buy-in matches, probably going to be the worst match of the night. And that's not saying because it's a bad match. It's just after. Oh no, Jade's on the card. But I'll give Jade a chance. Probably might be maybe the worst match of the night, just because the following matches we have next are just pure fire. And when I say pure fire and explosive, the man we were just talking about, Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
That's like, Matt. That could be easily the show stealer right there. Easy.
Oh yeah. It's gonna be it depends how they take it though, right? It depends what kind of Moxley we get. Do we get the Bloodsport Moxley, the New Japan Moxley, where he does a little bit more wrestling with the Moxley that we've kind of seen the last few times that he's been in the ring? He's been more wrestling oriented. Or are we just gonna get the batshit crazy Moxley? Which I haven't been down.
It could be a bit of both.
It could be a bit of both though, because Bryan Danielson also has that hot streak, that temper, where he kicks people's head in, and he uses. He's a heel now, so he uses whatever he can to get the advantage. So it's going to be a fun match. I haven't seen a bad Bryan Danielson match yet in AEW, and I don't see it being with Jon Moxley.
I see this going no contest.
Man, I can't. I don't want to see. I'm gonna flip if it's gonna go no contest, because it's already been 3 matches with Daniel Bryan, or it's 2, and this will be the 3rd where it's been a draw or no contest. Enough of it already. Stop. If you're gonna do it, then do it with a different wrestler. Leave Daniel Bryan out of it, because
But if it's done in a way where it's just like, okay, fine, listen, the no cut, it would be the 3rd. I get it, but I don't know. I was saying that maybe it's just that they just beat the crap out of each other, where they're just, let's say they're out on the floor and they don't make it up in the count of 10 kind of thing. But no, I don't see them joining. No, I don't see them joining because that would mean that one of them, one's a heel, one's a face. So I don't see that happening now unless there's someone that interferes later down in their storyline,
But Moxley is neutral, right? Like I mentioned, he's kind of neutral though. Because he does whatever the hell he wants. So I'm interested in seeing them as a tag team though.
He gets too much of a big crowd pop to be. He gets too much of a big crowd pop to be a heel, though. I think right now.
But that's what Daniel Bryan is. It's not about them both being heel. It's just about them both being, both mentoring the next people coming up and making it a thing. Because Daniel Bryan could go do the heelish stuff, and then Jon Moxley could just go do whatever he wants. Because some stuff that he does is heelish anyways, right? So
where do you go? Where do you go with that? Where do you go with that team? Because like you're gonna put the AEW tag team titles on them.
I feel like when they get their shot, I don't know. I guess that's the thing too. But I feel like you're going to see it for a bit. I don't think it's going to be a long period of time where they're going to be. I don't maybe see them getting. Yeah, you know what? Maybe Because honestly, who's the tag team champions right now? Jungle Boy and Thing, right? Jungle Boy
It's
and
Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Yeah, Drastic
Luchasaurus.
Express.
Danielson gets
Yeah, he gets a
Usopp
he.
to-
Yeah, but he's still. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I think you know what I like about this is that the fact that we don't know makes it even more interesting.
Exactly, which is great. It's like
that's why
we're so used to knowing from the dirt sheets and but the booking of this is done really well. And when that rumor had even come out or not even a rumor, but when they had mentioned, hey, join me or don't join, do you accept my invitation or not? The fact that that was an option where, okay, so we can either see them wrestle, which I'm down for, and we could see them also tag, which I am down for. Just kind of like how we saw CM Punk tag with John Moxley, right? That was a pretty interesting tag that we saw between those two. So I'm really down to see Daniel Bryan and Moxley work together in a tag because both are known to be single wrestlers. I don't recall Daniel Bryan being a tag team on the side, I guess, with Kane from Hell No, but I mean, scrap that.
That was stupid, yeah.
I mean, I prefer I did like the comedic aspect of it. I thought it was okay, but yeah, pretty silly. Yeah, so that's fine. I feel like you would have to make it a draw, though. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you that's it. Agree with me, damn it.
Anywho, gotta go. Apparently, I'm a whore, and merch is available at shop.spreadshirt.com/raw and order. I will see you Sunday, bud, where we will talk about Revolution in full detail. Yeah. And thank you, though, for joining, Casey. And yeah, we'll go on to the next match here, which is also going to be Fuego. Oh, that match won't be that Fuego. Yes, so we got. Oh, what's this match? Ricky Starks versus Orange Cassidy versus To Be Determined.
Oh, isn't
shit.
the face
okay,
of,
I didn't read
face
it.
of the Revolution,
yeah.
no?
No, exactly.
The ladder match.
Keith Lee versus Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks versus Orange Cassidy versus Cody Rhodes. No, maybe. Are you thinking? No,
maybe.
Who do you think the To Be Determined is going to be?
I think it's too soon though for him to come back.
Jonathan Gresham.
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
Could be possible. As far as Cody is concerned, I don't want to drag on about Cody. I just think that if he is to come back, it won't be for at least another 4 or 5 months, where you kind of work the work. You know what I mean? Like
that's fair.
That's what I would think. Like work the work, and then he comes back, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, he's back!" Right?
Right.
The Jonathan Gresham thing that could be interesting. Who would come out on the top? Because I mean, I think the winner gets a TNT title shot, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think it's a title shot of their choosing.
Yeah, I think the face of the Revolution gets a TNT title. Yeah, because when Scorpio Sky won, he had faced Darby Allin, and that's when he turned heel because he lost to Darby. So, I mean, I don't see Keith Lee. I don't see any of the big guys winning it. Although I do see some interference from Sean Spears, where that furthers Wardlow's face turn,
right?
Which was kind of teased on Dynamite a little bit more, especially when MJF slapped him backstage. So it's kind of like this might hurt.
Oh my god!
Yeah. This might be something that kind of leads into that, where you would think that Sean Spears is coming out to help Wardlow, and maybe he hits Wardlow. Wardlow falls off the ladder. Someone climbs up, grabs the ring. I think it's a golden ring, if I'm not mistaken, like a hoop of some sort.
Some kind of brass ring hoop thing.
Yeah. To pick a winner out of this, I'd say Ricky Starks.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's
Get rid of that FTW title.
Yeah.
Give it to Hook.
Give it to Hook. Exactly. And just get out of Taz's team to begin with. I feel like since Ricky Starks has been there, okay, I mean, granted, even before that, he wasn't necessarily doing anything, but I don't see Taz's team really helping him much more anyways. And I don't know, you gotta, that would give Ricky Starks a nice little push, though. I think I like that. Orange Cassidy doesn't necessarily need it.
But then again, Orange Cassidy wrestling for a title. I mean, I think it all depends on if Sammy retains on Rampage. I think it's all. I think whoever wins that Face of the Revolution title, if your goal is to have that winner win the belt, it's all going to depend on if Sammy retains. So if Sammy were to retain on Rampage, isn't it the three-way? No, Rampage for the TNT title, Darby, and Andrade.
Oh, snap. Yes. I'll double check just in case. I feel like that's a fire match.
So I think it's a three-way. So I think if Sammy retains, whoever wins the Face of the Revolution and challenges Sammy wins the belt. And if Sammy loses, I don't see that let's say if Darby or Andrade winning the belt, I don't see them dropping it to whoever wins the ladder match, at least till not later on. Maybe like they kind of work a program, maybe a 2-3 month program where you have the winner at least defend the title a few times and then finally kind of like the Money in the Bank, right? Where it's kind of like after a few months, that guy cashes in his TNT title opportunity.
Exactly. So it would just depend, I guess, on give me the matches, guys. Jesus. And yeah, and I guess
I think it's a three-way. It's a three-way on Rampage for the TNT title, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fairly certain.
I think you're right. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, because I remember. I think they alluded to it on Dynamite.
Oh, okay, fair enough. So that three-way is going to be really fire. Then I'm really excited for that.
So yeah, it's yeah. So I think it all depends on what happens on Rampage. Well,
I also feel like Sammy's still going to keep it though.
Well, if Andrade or Darby, if Andrade wins, I would see a face win the ladder match because then it would make sense. Face heel,
right?
Fight for the title, right? So that's why I said it depends on who wins who's booked to win on Rampage. You know,
unless Sammy turns heel.
Another scenario which I don't want to happen, but I would kind of expect it to happen, and I hope it doesn't. If Sammy somehow retains, and then leading into another match that's on this card that you kind of brought up, Jade drops to Ty Conti, and remember they're a couple, and both of them have the TBS and TNT title. Is that far-fetched?
I mean,
I don't want it to happen, but I'm just saying it could happen.
It could happen. I don't think Jade's losing it yet, though. I still feel like they're trying to build up Jade with that. But yeah, I guess that's the next match we'll get to. In terms of the Face of the Revolution, I'm giving it to the. I feel like you almost maybe have to give it to Lee, though.
I don't see him. I mean, like, okay, I know he's an athletic big guy, but I don't see him climbing because you have three really big guys in that match.
You don't see him climbing.
No, I don't see him climbing the ladder. I don't see him climbing the ladder. I don't know. I don't.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm
sure he'll climb the ladder, but no, that's.
I'm not saying he's not. I just don't see him really. After a hard fought match, really climbing it. I would lean more towards maybe Powerhouse Hobbs helping Ricky Starks win it. That kind of would make sense considering they're both in the match.
Right, which is also messed up. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's why I'm going with Ricky Starks.
Man, I don't think it's going to be anyone of a surprise, though. I feel like it might even be that guy there, Dante.
Nah, his brother just came back.
Oh, did he? Did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was on. They were in the tag team battle royal together on Dynamite.
Right. Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, that's true.
Dante. I think he's gonna go try to build that tag team because that tag team had promise. Unfortunately,
Right.
Darius got hurt,
Right.
so Dante kind of wrestled by himself or wrestled other tags with other people.
Right.
So him building up his brand, so to speak, his name, and getting winning over the audience. So yeah, I think that's a good way to kind of further the return of that tag team.
No, that's fair. Okay, it's true. Yeah, I forgot that had happened. I was still at work, so I
don't you
missed
pay
some of that.
attention? Don't you pay attention to what happens on Dynamite? I mean, come on, Justin.
I know. One job. Speaking of one job, Jade Cargill is probably going to do her one job and beat Tay Conti because it's way too early for her to lose the belt. They're still kind of building on her. I'm slowly getting more interested into what she does in the ring, but I'm still not entirely sold on her. Just for the fact that I feel like it's a mix between AEW not really knowing what to do with their women wrestlers in terms of storytelling, and also Jade still being kind of bland.
Well, I think it's safe to say that they have Jade. They're building around Jade, because she's such an athletic woman, and she's obviously really new. I think she's been wrestling a year maybe. I think she said I think it was on Jericho's podcast. Okay, for a few months. Okay, guys, I know she said on Jericho's podcast it hadn't been long that she'd been wrestling. Mm-hmm. So obviously they're building around her, which is not a bad thing.
Right.
The match she had against Ruby Soho was good. Mm-hmm. Which is obviously leading up to her winning the belt. But I think Ty Conti, I think they'll position it where Ty kind of puts up a fight but yeah, I'm with you on that one again too. Jade takes this one.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the most predictable match on this card. I know. Yeah, of course, because Hook. And then with that, we have the AEW tag team 3-way, where it's going to be okay. This is not
Jungle Express, Red Dragon, and the Young Bucks.
Oh yes, of course. So this is what we expected. I think everyone kind of expected this with the Young Bucks and Red Dragon having their little feud. And ultimately, I think this is so I don't know. I guess they could go a few routes with this. They can either have Red Dragon or Young Bucks win, and they face off against each other for the championships. But then that kind of also makes Luchasaurus and Jurassic Express look stupid. But this match, they're the champions, and this match isn't even about them, to that extent, because it's really all about the storytelling of Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks. So
I think unfortunately, and I think because Jungle Boy is a really, really good talent. I think he's a good worker. I think unfortunately because Luchasaurus is kind of like, you're on. It's just like, he's there. I don't think they really worked out as tag team champions as much as you would have liked them to.
Right.
Yeah. I agree even though they've had, I think the good thing, what helped them was having Christian aligned with them.
Yeah.
So that was definitely getting that rub, made sense. I would see Red Dragon winning this because I think it would lead more towards the eventual 3-on-3 with Red Dragon and Adam Cole against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
Yeah, I think that would make more sense. Young Bucks can play off Red Dragon. Well, Adam Cole at least can be really cocky. So we'll be really cocky towards the Young Bucks. Young Bucks feeling disrespected because it looks like they were kind of going face. Kenny Omega comes back. Definitely going to be a face because everyone's going to be popping for him. So I don't think we're going to see the cleaner gimmick per se.
No. He'll do. I think he'll come back doing his usual the gimmick he had before, maybe just without minus Don Callis. But
Right.
The Young Bucks kind of hinted it. Like if you remember during the heavyweight title match with Kenny and Hangman, where the Young Bucks kind of nodded to Hangman before he gave the buckshot. They kind of
Right.
hinted at the face turn there. And this is just
Right.
my opinion.
Mhm.
You know, I could be wrong, but I mean, I think that was kind of like the hint, like, okay, something's coming.
Well, even
So
when
it would make
before,
sense.
right? When Hangman went to go into the ring, the Young Bucks left the ring too against Adam
They backed
Cole, and
up.
then
They backed
Hangman,
off. Yeah,
they backed off.
yeah.
So I don't know if Kenny Omega is ready to come back yet, though, because if anything, you can maybe make it Hangman as their all elite
Well,
guy, the leader.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because I heard a podcast. He was on the Brian Alvarez podcast. I think maybe all that long ago, and I think how he said alluded to how his getting back to shape was coming along. So you kind of think that maybe he's not that far behind making a return. He
Okay,
could definitely return. He can definitely return doing promos before doing a match and kind of still like wait a few weeks and kind of get into ring shape again.
that's valid.
So that's definitely possible. So yeah, I'm going with Red Dragon in this one.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. Unfortunately, that sucks for Lucha. No, Lucha. Wow, that's fun. That sucks for Jurassic Express. But yeah, they gotta. No one. They've had it. They've had it. I think for like 6 months, and I didn't care for those entire 6 months. So
I think Jungle Boy. What worked to that team was Jungle Boy because Luchasaurus is like, you know,
I mean,
all he does is
no, but he's a good wrestler though, man. You're
yeah.
really undermining his
I'm
talent.
more of a fan. I'm more of a fan of the fact that he was on Big Brother 16.
Me too. Yep.
Okay, so let's not forget
Yeah,
that
that's it. That's
Luchasaurus
not.
was on Big Brother, folks. Okay.
Yeah, that's very valid. You got pretty far too, no? Wasn't he like he didn't
I think
win,
it was
but he
in the
was like I think
final
top
8,
five.
maybe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
final 8 only? Okay. That's
I
fair.
think so. Yeah.
So less Big Brother, more wrestling. We got Dr. D. Oh, hold on. No, we should probably go. We should probably no. We'll go with Dr. DMD versus Thunder Rosa, which is gonna be hopefully fire. I feel like we're all thinking it's gonna be like the unsanctioned match, and I want to just tell everybody right now, don't have those kind of hopes for the match. It's gonna be good. It's not gonna be unsanctioned good.
Well,
Fair
it could be
assessment.
as intense. Yeah, it could be just as intense. It's just they don't have to. I mean, they could blade. They could be like like maybe
Yeah, that's valid. That's true
someone
though.
hits the post. I mean, they don't have to have thumbtacks. That doesn't have to go that way.
Right.
Uh, I like this match. I really think this could actually be a match that steals the show, maybe just as much, if not
Mm-hmm.
maybe Daniel Bryan and John Moxley 1A. This would be 1B, in my
Okay.
opinion. So you know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I see you laughing at my analogy, but I don't appreciate your little smirk there. So calm down, okay?
I give it.
But
I give your analogy 1D plus. Okay.
so I think Britt retains because I'm still convinced that she's gonna feud with Ruby and Ruby wins the belt from her. I think Ruby would be the one to take the belt away from her. Nothing against Thunder Rosa, but I
Right.
think the story behind Ruby being that she's been in wrestling for 11 years and she's never won a belt. She comes to a company where even let's say off television saying that she's happy being there and she's happy with the opportunity. I think, yeah, I definitely because it was teased right when she lost against Jade. where they kind of, like Britt Baker interrupted her backstage interview. So
Right.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Ruby makes you see Ruby in that title push, that title hunt, and at a pay-per-view, whenever their next pay-per-view is. I think they do only 4 or 5 a year. Can it be?
It's 4 or 5 a year. Yeah, exactly. It's like
Yeah.
Revolution,
So I
All
think
Out, Double or Nothing, and then I don't know what the other one is.
yeah. So I think
Yeah, it's
maybe
4
at
or 5.
All Out you would see maybe like a program within Revolution till All Out. I think you'd see Ruby wrestling for the belt, and that's when she beats Britt. But on this one, Britt beats Red. She would beat Thunder Rosa because then it because Thunder Rosa got over on her during the Lights Out match, so it makes sense that she would win this one.
That's it. I also wouldn't mind seeing Rosa versus Soho, though. Did we
Thunder
already
Rosa
see that?
versus Thunder
Ruby,
Rosa
yeah,
versus
Thunder
Ruby
Rosa versus
Soho?
Ruby. Mm-hmm.
No,
I feel like
they were a tag team. They were a tag team. They're two faces. No, it wouldn't work.
I mean, just in terms of match quality, I feel like it would be fire.
That's true. That's true. But I mean, if Ruby has to win the belt, it'd have to be off of Britt, not off of Thunder Rosa.
It would have to be up Britt. No, that's fair because Ruby would definitely get more of it would just be more rewarding for her character because of her underdog story and so on.
Yeah, and obviously Britt even though she gets obviously everyone chance to do the DMD thing, but to have someone that generally is a heel, and you have someone who has a really crazy pop, because of the music, and she's just well liked, and she's a good worker. That's why it's like I said, it's my opinion at the end of the day, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way they're going, where it will be Ruby against Britt.
Yeah. So we're definitely in agreement there. I just hope it's a fire match. It sounds like it would be a fire match.
It's going to be good. It'll be good.
It's going to be great. It'll be 1B.
Yeah.
Another match though that does sound pretty fire. We got the dog collar match, MJF versus CM Punk.
Yeah. I think it's fairly safe to say that CM Punk wins. He lost in his hometown. You would have never thought him losing in Chicago. So he loses in his hometown, loses twice due to interference. Obviously, was part of it, and now it's a dog collar match. It could also be two where there's an instance because obviously the dog collar match it's no disqualification.
Right.
So I would think a scenario where Sean Spears comes down, tries to hit CM Punk, and Wardlow intervenes, setting up a tag team match on Rampage. Wardlow and CM Punk against Sean Spears and MJF.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be going that route because this is really just for building. But it's weird though, because at the same time, you want to give MJF this win because it's going to seem that much. But I don't know. It's because it's off and on, right? So what MJF did this week on Dynamite was fire. That was ultimate. He went from face to heel in a week, like no problem. And we all believed it. No problem sort of ordeal. So,
but that's the thing. I think just as, sorry, go ahead. No, sorry. I was going to say, I think just the fact that like CM Punk has to get his heat back, his heat back, so it would make sense that he'd win this.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense too for the storyline, just because for the Wardlow versus MJF. And even if MJF beats CM Punk, I mean, just because I think it would maybe do something if he did it cleanly. But then again, it's a dog collar match, and MJF doesn't do anything cleanly, so it would also be kind of weird. And you do have to, yeah, that's fair. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. The hero wins, the good guy wins in this case. That was spot on once again by MJF and CM Punk. It's amazing how since CM Punk has been there, he's probably been in all the best promos.
Well,
within the last 6 months.
that goes to show you what kind of a promo he gives, and he can give an emotional promo, kind of like what he gave on Wednesday, this Wednesday. He could give one that's intense, that he gave the week prior when he announced the dog collar, when he pulled the dog collar out of the box. So
Right.
I mean, there's a reason why the guy is good on the mic. It's not for nothing.
No, exactly. So yeah, that I honestly think could also steal the show. And yeah, so I don't know if that necessarily will be the co-main event per se. I think that will be after the Face the Revolution match though.
Yeah,
Because then I think if Starks does something to Wardlow, that's what's going to push Wardlow over the edge. Wardlow is going to screw over MJF.
exactly. Yeah, so I would see that. Yeah, you're right. I'll agree with that. It's very rare that I do agree with you, Justin. So,
It
but
happens,
no, I'm
Is there a
kidding.
full moon outside?
Yeah, but I think I would see maybe that being a mid card match. Right after the ladder match. But then again, I don't know, because you have like two kind of not saying high tempo matches, but two, I guess, quote unquote, hardcore matches. So I have to have two
Right.
back to back. To have two back to back, I don't think so. I think there would be one in between.
Yeah.
Maybe have the
Yeah.
Jade. Maybe have Jade and Ty between those two.
Fair. Yep.
Because you have the Face of the Revolution match would get people up here, kind of bring them down a bit to kind of bring them back up. So yeah, I would see that happening.
That's it. That would be the perfect Hook QT Marshall match to put in the middle, but that's in the buy-in. So, and then I think we're on our main event where it is going for the AEW Championship. You have Hangman Adam Page versus Adam Cole, baby.
This is going to be another match where it's just like technically is going to be great. The story that they're going to tell is going to be great. Kind of alluding to, I know it's hard to pick because I would almost think that it's too early for Hangman to drop it, but
right.
alluding to what I said earlier, where you have Red Dragon winning the tag team titles, and then you have Adam Cole winning the heavyweight title, setting up that 3-on-3 match down the line when Kenny comes back. Kind of makes sense. So have all three of them have the belts.
It even makes sense for Kenny to maybe show up, but where do you make him show up? Maybe show up at this match to help Adam Cole, because it's not gonna be directly right away. Screw over Adam Page, help Adam Cole win it, and then the Young Bucks, and then because Kenny doesn't know what's going on, right? Hey, we're just helping each other out, and then find out. I don't know. Maybe that's a bit too much.
I think what would happen where ref bump, Red Dragon comes down, try to help Adam Cole win. Young Bucks come down, and then Kenny shows up.
But who does he help? He would help Adam Page.
I would think
because Adam Page,
maybe not
helped Adam Page.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily directly help Adam Page, but kind of break up that whole thing, and then maybe Adam Cole eventually just wins because of maybe another ref comes in or the ref comes up from his ref bump and so on and so forth. So I'm more leaning towards Adam Cole winning it because I think it just makes sense storyline wise.
Yeah, you can kind of just do all that after. It's very true though. Because you can kind of make Adam Page win, but then Red Dragon comes in afterwards, beats the shit out of him. Young Bucks come. Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Lights out. Kenny Omega shows up. Oh my God, Kenny Omega. He's trying to break everything up. And then he super kicks Adam Cole and the Young Bucks super kick of the Red Dragon, thus letting that happen. And then Adam Page is still your champion too, though. I mean, it's amazing to me how we're thinking of how so many scenarios could still be. It could still be, and it would still be pretty fire. I loved the fact that now I'm playing a guessing game with what's going on, and it's not so predictable,
Because
So,
even though if you look at it in a certain way where it's almost like you can sort of predict where you think you were going to go, but then after, if it goes the opposite way, it's not a letdown. You know
right,
what I mean?
exactly.
So even if Adam Page retains, because you would think, because I'm always going back to who's returning, so you would think that Miro is supposed to come back. So I mean, I don't see necessarily Miro going after the TNT title again. I wouldn't be surprised if Miro has a world title push for a little bit. So he takes the belt off of Adam Page, because then after, especially if Kenny turns face, which is what you would think is going to happen, which would make the most sense.
Mm-hmm.
Who does Adam Page work with that would take the belt off of him? The only ones that would make sense would be Daniel Bryan or Miro, in my opinion. And considering that Miro, I think it's been a while that he cut a promo, so I would most likely think that if Miro comes back, he'd work a program, because he alluded to it in his last promo that he was kind of coming after a title, right? So
Right. Yeah,
so that's what.
I fade off with his promos, unfortunately.
Yeah, you fade off a lot in general, unfortunately.
Oh shit, that's a valid point too.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, but you're kind of right. I'll take it. Yeah, where has Miro been? I feel like, when was his last promo? A few weeks ago, right?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago. I think he was in front of just a white backdrop. Like, it was just all white, and he was cursing God out and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
You would think he's coming back, and it would kind of make sense that he would return soon, because it's been a while. So people, I'm sure, like us, and kind of like alluding to the point you just made, like, hey, it's been a while since his last promo.
Right.
Maybe he shows up on the Dynamite after Rampage, after Revolution.
Yeah,
It's not
I
impossible.
could say, I just don't know if he's going to be in the title picture like that just yet. I feel like with the story that they're telling with Kenny and Thing, I feel like that's going to happen first. But that's if Kenny Omega is available right now.
Well,
but
he could cut. Yeah.
Because if Kenny comes into the picture, Kenny's going after the title.
Yeah.
So then that would make that's it though. That's why it's all messed up. Because if Adam Page retains, Kenny coming back doing that thing with Adam Cole, cool, people are still going to be interested in that. But then who does Adam Page face? Adam Page versus Miro is not I would think, like, they haven't had, with how AEW does their stuff, we see that they go with a lot of background story. It might be from a few months ago, but it's still there. I don't remember or recall Miro and Adam Page really having anything against each other.
Well,
per se.
No, but that's true. But I mean, if you look at Adam Page's last title defense, which was against Lance Archer, that kind of came out of nowhere also, where Adam Page came in the ring, was cutting a promo, and then Dan Lambert came out, and then Lance Archer came out.
Right.
So could it be a repeat scenario where he had such a hard fought match? Tony Schiavone's going to interview him in the ring. All of a sudden, something happens. Lights go out. Maybe Miro comes out and kind of attacks him.
So I'm checking the rankings, because if they're going to go off, the AEW rankings from who's next in line.
That's true. The rank. I forgot about the ranking system. Yeah.
So interesting enough, Power Hobbs is second, but I see that being weird. Lance Archer is third. Wardlow is fourth. Dante Martin is fifth.
Well, Wardlow would have to. Wardlow, I think, wouldn't be close to the title picture. Not now.
Not yet.
He would definitely have to. He would have to work a program with MJF first.
Right. And Lance Archer already got it.
Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs?
Because I would see Wardlow as TNT champion.
Right. Yeah, but he's too big to be a TNT champion. I mean, granted, if Powerhouse Hobbs wins it, though,
I just want
they
someone to
could
take
go
it
with
off of
that
Sammy.
too. That's it. That's right. Just anybody. Give me anybody.
Anybody.
Anybody. The Invisible Man. Go in there.
You could win the TNT title for all I care. I'll be happy.
Hey, look at you go. Fair enough. I'll see what I can do. He's a Spanish god though, so that's gonna be some mightiness I have to pull off to try and beat his his 640 splash or whatever. Yeah, I mean, based off the rankings, it doesn't necessarily help me, but I keep looking back at Powerhouse Hobbs. I mean, that would be a swerve if he wins the Face the Revolution and he goes after Sammy, but then that doesn't help us for the Adam. I don't know. I'm going to stop guessing because it's giving me a headache. But it's great that I don't know too. So,
well, the Face of the Revolution, unless they change it up and they say that okay, he doesn't go after whoever wins that doesn't go after the TNT title, goes after the.
But it's for one or the other. It's for one or the other.
It's one or the other. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I could have sworn it was only the TNT title. Because I mean, when Scorpio Sky won it, I don't want to sound like a mark here, but I mean, wouldn't you think that it would make sense? You know, I think it's the TNT title. Yeah, I think it is.
AEW's window takes Face of the Revolution ladder match. Okay. Participant revealed in AEW's Face of the ladder match. Okay, let's see here. The participant has been confirmed. All right. Main event, Orange Cassidy defeat. Okay. Receive a future title shot from AEW TNT champion Sammy Guevara. Oh, okay. It is only for the TNT then. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's fair. All right. Yeah, so that blows that out of the water. I don't know, man. But I'm excited, and I still feel like I'm going to be entertained. It's going to be quite a Sunday for me. I am watching Batman before, and Batman's like 3 hours. So then right off the bat, I'm not going to the WWE show. That is such a bomb on WWE's part to have the WWE house show in Montreal at 7:30 while you have the AEW Revolution pay-per-view happening. Like already people weren't going to go to the house show, and now you have the Revolution pay-per-view on top.
Yeah, it's going to be a great pay-per-view. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. It's going to be just can't wait. Really excited. Already have it ordered. This is where I don't mind ordering pay-per-views. If I'm going to get nonstop entertainment like that, you bet your ass I don't mind spending, especially because it's every 4 months. You know what I mean? What's $40 every 4 months? I mean, it's for some people it might be something.
No, it's not
but
bad.
I it's not bad. That's $10 a month that you're saving. You know what I mean? Like, go for it. It's definitely entertaining, and I'm really excited for it. I almost feel bad not talking anything WWE. Did you watch the Pat McAfee Vince McMahon interview that happened today?
I saw some of it, but Pat McAfee annoys me, so I stopped watching it.
Fair. Okay, so
I just find him obnoxious. Like when he had Brock Lesnar on, I watched that one, and I just found him obnoxious. Always getting up and it's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah, he's a bit eccentric. Man. He's a bit eccentric. Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind him necessarily. Maybe this is the first time I technically watch it, so maybe that's why I really didn't mind his eccentricness or his excitingness. I do find the table dancing when Shinsuke comes out a bit stupid, but yeah. So big news though, but you heard about the big news at least. So one, cool having Vince there. That was pretty awesome. Vince basically mentioned that Pat McAfee is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. It won't be against Vince McMahon, as everyone's alluding to, or I guess it still kind of could be, but Vince says he'll find him someone, which most likely would be us in theory. And then Vince also had mentioned that he will be the one inducting The Undertaker into the WWE Hall of Fame. which
Makes
I
sense.
guess makes sense. We all know how their relationship is. They're like brothers in that regard, and they have a great relationship with each other and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But Vince was pretty interesting, though. He seemed there. You know what I mean? He seemed like he knew what he was talking about compared to when we saw him with the Austin Theory backstage segments. He looked like he was off. But Vince seemed very aware of what he's doing and what he's talking about. Wanted to know more about his backstory, though. I didn't realize he had such a crazy childhood.
Yeah, I think he alluded to it. He's alluded to it in the past too, where he was kind of like neglected by his father a lot, and he always wanted to prove his father right, saying that he could. Yeah, basically just wanting to prove his father. Wanted to prove his father wrong because his father, I guess, kind of like I said, neglected him. So that's kind of.
Well, it was also his
I've heard him-
stepfather, I think, too, that would beat him and stuff like that, too.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, it's I'm surprised they haven't made a documentary on that yet. But I guess Vince is like, "Fuck you guys, I don't want to make this."
Yeah, I don't. But I know I don't know if he alluded to it on maybe Stone Cold's podcast, maybe at one point. Or
Oh, that makes
I've
sense.
heard him talk about it. I've heard him talk about it before. So
Oh, yeah?
I just don't remember where
Okay.
exactly. Yeah, like that he had like a kind of like a shaky childhood with his dad, and then obviously he got in better with his dad. You know, but yeah, it's I've heard it somewhere. I just don't remember where exactly.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, a pretty interesting interview. It wasn't. I think Vince was on with him for about 45 minutes to an hour. So yeah, it was interesting. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll just have to see if it's just going to be a Hall of Fame with just the Undertaker, because that's the only person that was mentioned for that.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I guess in terms of just the weekly stuff that happened, really not much. We had the contract signing between Brock and Roman, which doesn't make sense because you also have the Brock facing someone at MSG where he could potentially lose the title. So for me, the contract signing seemed a bit pointless. And we're going to finally see Ronda fight this week, technically, on SmackDown against Sonya Deville, though. So in a singles match, which, you know, whatever.
I don't know. I have a hard time. I try. Honestly, I do try watching Raw. Maybe SmackDown not as much. I try watching Raw, but I can't get through more than half an hour.
No, yeah, it's a lot of boringness. I mean, if you want to sleep, it's perfect. You put that on, It's background noise, you sleep, you're good. It's happened to me several times. I can confirm that it works. Yeah, Naomi and Sasha are now a tag team out of nowhere. So there's that.
I mean,
that's it. I don't know. There's not really much.
Seth what are you supposed to say to that? Naomi and Sasha tag team.
I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they're going to be facing someone at WrestleMania because you have to put Sasha at WrestleMania somehow.
I can't wait for that. Insert sarcasm.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, all the women's matches are on the first night for the titles. So there is that too. And yeah, no, nothing crazy. Honestly, I don't know what to talk about with
Is WrestleMania still 2 nights again this year?
It's 2 nights, yeah.
2 nights?
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. Which is honestly better.
Yeah.
I'd rather 2 nights of 3 hours or 3 hours and a half than of 1 night with 7. You know what I mean? So
wasn't it always 4 hours?
No, man. Sometimes it would. Sometimes not necessarily. Sometimes it would hit like the 6 hour mark. For 2 WrestleManias, I think it hit like the 6 hour mark.
6 hours.
Disgusting.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Or like 5.5 or something. Yeah. Okay. There was one at least because I think it started at like 6 and it ended at like 11. It was disgusting.
Okay.
And then they did the 2-night thing because of COVID, and then they realized, oh, maybe we should keep it this way. So, yeah, I don't mind it honestly, and at least you get a little bit of a break. Even 4 hours of wrestling with the amount of WrestleMania stuff that goes on, maybe is a bit
Yeah,
much, a bit overwhelming. So at least they break it up.
you get a 24-hour break from shit to watch more shit later on the next day.
I mean, at least I'm getting a break in between. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's true.
at least I'm getting a break from the shit. It's not a 6-hour shitstorm. You know, they've divided they've divided it into two. So you know, what are you gonna do? It's WWE.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. Nothing really crazy. I don't think there was anything necessarily overly informative on WWE's side aside from the Pat McAfee interview.
No, honestly, I
I
didn't pay attention to WWE much.
no, that's fair. Something happened with KO and Seth. I think they won a tag team. They won their match. And so I think they might be facing the tag team champions, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me
I
on
don't
that.
know, but do you notice the trend here where we tend to remember what happened on Dynamite because it was entertaining, and how much we lose interest to what happens on Raw and SmackDown? Is it just me?
No, it's not just you. It's just I also feel like yeah, I mean it's an entertainment factor for sure. I just also feel guilty. Like, am I being too hard on WWE? But I it can't be that, man. It
Yeah,
can't be that.
I don't think so,
You know what
because
I
I mean,
mean?
if
It's just because it's lackluster.
yeah, if they had, like I said the last time we did the show together, just you and I, they have
Mm.
moments where you can kind of say, "Oh, okay, that's cool, that's good," but the moments are so few and far between that they get lost in the shuffle. So it's hard to pinpoint what you would remember from the show and what's anything redeeming from both those shows. But that's just me. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who think otherwise, and that's fair. I mean,
No,
at the end of the day, what we're saying on the show is just our opinion. But I have a hard time finding anything redeeming about both shows.
no, that's valid. Yeah, especially when it's just always the same old, right? So it's just it kind of gets flustered into you not remembering it anymore because there's nothing there to retain that would be informative or interesting because it's always the same thing. So that's fair.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. We'll probably have a better recap for you next week. Maybe one of our hosts will show up perhaps that week as well. That would be nice. No, they had one went to Toronto and one has daddy duties. So it is what it is. It happens. Thank you, Jeff, for, of course, always being the knight in shining armor to help me out here and to talk a little wrestling. It was AEW, so we were going to be entertained by the card that's going on, and I know you're watching. So I'd like to thank you, of course, for coming on. And if they want to follow you, bud, whether talk about wrestling or anything else about the video game stuff we have over on Real Talk or just really about anything in general, where can they follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at JT_9783. I kind of get in discussions. I follow a variety of different people on Twitter and kind of follow different news. So, I mean, if anything, any topics, whether it be wrestling related or anything else, follow me there on Twitter.
There you go. And the link will be down below in the doobly-doos. And, of course, your boy Justin JLB, you can follow me at JLB420 on Twitter, at Real Talk Radio 8 as well on Twitter. Real Talk Radio, of course, is the brand as well at Real Talk Radio 8, anchor.fm/RTR. I also have a link tree now. I done made one, so you can follow all those streams there and follow me wherever social media platform you do use. And of course, you can follow WTN at Wrestling Talk Now on Facebook and at WTN Wrestling on Twitter. All the links will be down below as well for all of that. We are here every Thursday night with your Thursday night recap. And That is pretty much it. Jeff, I'd like to thank you once again, good sir. And thank you, everyone, for listening, and Casey for participating in our discussion. It is certainly always appreciated. And that about ends the podcast. So thank you guys once again. See you next Thursday. And I hope you enjoy AEW Revolution. But until next time, ciao for now.